Welcome to the deep dive.
And welcome. Today we're digging into some really interesting AI developments, pulling insights from articles covering the top stories from Wednesday, June 11th, 2025.
Right, and just so you know, this specific deep dive, which we're calling AI Daily Deep Dive, was actually researched and put together entirely by AI.
Yeah, our mission today is basically to unpack the key takeaways, the important bits from 5 major developments really shaping what's happening in AI right now.
It's kind of a snapshot, isn't it? Covering creativity,
Yeah.
physics, even defense.
Exactly, all sorts of different angles.
Okay, then let's get into this stack. First story up. Looks like Hollywood's taking on generative AI legally.
That's right. Disney and Universal. They've filed a big copyright lawsuit against Midjourney, the AI image generator.
Midjourney. Okay.
And this is pretty significant because, well, it's the first time studios this large have gone directly after a generative AI company like this in court, Los Angeles federal court specifically.
And the core issue.
Right.
What are they claiming?
They're accusing Midjourney of essentially pirating huge libraries of their copyrighted stuff, characters like Darth Vader, the Minions,
Wow.
and using that to train the AI to make unauthorized copies. They argue the AI's foundation is piracy, and Midjourney just ignored their requests for safeguards.
Pretty serious stuff. What's Midjourney saying?
Well, the CEO, David Holtz, he's kind of comparing it to a search engine. He's questioning if AI art is really different under copyright law, arguing it falls under fair use.
Fair use. Okay. That's a common defense we're seeing.
It is. And this lawsuit, it joins a growing list, right?
Right.
There are others against OpenAI, Anthropic, Stability AI, Getty Images has one too. And the RIAA, the music industry body, is backing the studios here.
So the outcome here could be huge. It might set a real precedent on AI training, licensing versus fair use. It really brings up that tension, doesn't it? Protecting creators versus, the potential for new creative tools.
Definitely a space to watch. Okay, moving on. Meta. They've unveiled something new focused on AI understanding the physical world.
Oh, interesting. So not just language or pictures. What is this?
It's an AI model called V-JEPA 2, and the idea is to push forward robotics and self-driving cars.
How does it do that?
Well, it helps machines predict how objects will move, understand things like gravity, or that objects still exist even when hidden, sort of mimicking human-like physical reasoning.
And I read it's more efficient too, needs less data.
Yeah, it works in what they call a simplified latent space. So unlike huge language models needing tons of text, this is potentially more data efficient for its specific task.
Makes sense.
Yann LeCun over at Meta calls these digital twins models for prediction and planning. And it's part of a wider trend, people like Fei Lei with World Labs, Google DeepMind's Genie, they're all exploring this physical AI space, shows Meta's big investment, even recruiting top people like Scale AI's CEO.
And you can immediately see the use cases, right? Self-driving cars, figuring out busy streets, delivery bots, navigating sidewalks.
Exactly. And speaking of Meta's AI push, they also just launched another tool. This one's a video editor for regular users.
Another one. Okay, Meta's really putting stuff out there. What does this video editor do?
It basically lets you apply effects to short videos that, well, used to be pretty much Hollywood-only territory. It's inspired by their research project called Movie Gen AI.
So you could, change someone's clothes in a video or the background, make it look like a comic book.
Yeah, precisely. Change lighting, style. There are apparently over 50 presets: comic art, marble statue, beach scene, winter look. And interestingly, you can apply these to videos that weren't originally made with AI. Custom text prompts are supposedly coming later, too.
Where can people find this?
It's rolling out through the Meta AI app, their website, the Edits app, and apparently coming to Instagram as well.
When you look at all this activity, the new models, the consumer tools, plus that whole AI superintelligence initiative, and Zuckerberg personally recruiting researchers with big offers.
Right, using WhatsApp groups, hosting dinners.
It feels like these tools, while cool, are maybe just scratching the surface of their bigger ambitions, perhaps towards AGI.
It certainly hints at goals far beyond just content creation tools. Okay, let's completely switch gears now. Defense sector. Saab and Helsing.
The aerospace companies.
Well,
what's the AI angle here?
They've hit a major milestone with the Gripen E fighter jet. They successfully flew it with an integrated AI agent from Helsing.
An AI in the jet during flight.
Yeah, first 3 flights of something called Project Beyond. The AI agent, named Centaur, autonomously handled complex combat maneuvers beyond visual range stuff. It analyzed the battlefield, even cued the human pilot.
Wow, that's That's a significant step for AI and military tech.
It really is. And what's unique here is that the AI was integrated right into an active fighter jet platform, not a separate test bed. That means real-world trials, faster software updates.
So they could test it more realistically.
Exactly. They even flew it against a real Gripen E, tested its adaptability, what happens if communications are disabled, things like that. It's backed by the Swedish Defense Material Administration.
So the goal is smarter, maybe autonomous fighters down the line.
Looks that way. Refining AI for future threats. It definitely highlights AI's growing role in warfare scenarios.
Okay, one more story. This one's about a different way of building AI, moving beyond deep learning.
Yeah, an alternative approach. It's called Axiom, developed by a company named Verse AI. They're using something called active inference.
Active inference, I think I've heard of that. It's inspired by how the brain works, isn't it? Using prior knowledge, predicting, and updating based on what it observes, tied to Carl Friston's ideas.
That's the one, based on the free energy principle. Basically, the idea that biological systems, like brains, try to minimize surprise or prediction error by constantly refining their internal models of the world.
So how does Axiom compare to, say, deep learning?
Well, the contrast they draw is efficiency. Deep reinforcement learning often needs massive amounts of data and computing power, like for mastering games. Axiom apparently mastered some simplified games very efficiently, using far fewer examples and way less energy.
Interesting. Any notable supporters?
AI researcher Francois Chollet is mentioned as being supportive, seeing it as aligning with the broader goals of artificial general intelligence research.
And potential uses beyond games.
They suggest things like modeling complex systems, maybe even stock markets. It's being framed as a kind of digital brain, potentially more responsive, efficient, and better at handling complex real-world situations than some current deep learning methods.
Okay, so we've covered quite a range today. Hollywood lawsuits, Meta's world models and video tools, AI fighter jets, and even new AI architectures.
It really shows you just how fast things are moving, and in so many different directions at once. The evolution and the diverse applications are just, well, everywhere right now.
And hopefully this deep dive gives you a good shortcut to understanding these key developments, pulling the important bits straight from the sources we looked at.
Absolutely. And maybe a final thought to leave you with, as we've seen across all these different stories, there's this constant balancing act, isn't there, between the incredible speed of AI innovation and all the challenges that come with it, legal, ethical, even fundamental questions about how we should build AI. That balance continues to be, I think, the central question shaping where all this goes next.